Okay, folks, in today's tutorial we are taking a look at how to get an atmospheric sound out of NNXT. I opened the session for this example. The blue clips here are my NNXT, and let's start from the beginning so you can hear the changes. Okay, as you heard, there were lots of sounds going on in the background, but this was only the NNXT playing, everything else is muted. How do I get this? Let's open our NNXT, and as you see, we got plenty of samples in here. So the first sample here is just a bass sample. And all these other samples I've recorded with my smartphone with the memo function. The first three examples are recordings from a balcony. This is the window behind the house. These are some church bells I've recorded. This is me walking, and these two are recordings from our last vacation where I recorded the pool. And the last one is just a ticking noise from a bird. And as you hear, there's this kind of standing note there. And as you hear, it's roughly the same every time. I will explain where this is coming from in a second. But first thing to say is the bass note and the first balcony recording are always on, and all the other recordings have this little alt knob enabled. If we select zone via MIDI and I play something on my keyboard, I just press one button and you see multiple recordings are played at once. If I press the same button again, it's always another outcome. So this is the basic trick here. So we switch between different recordings that sound kind of similar, but all have different little texture sprinklings in there which enhance our sounds. So, but how do we get those sounds? So let's start fresh. We take an audio track. For this example, I will make some noise. Okay, ideal-wise, you would take a longer recording so you could pick out the best parts. But for this example, this is totally fine. So let's say we have these 4 bars here. And what we do now is we go into our audio channel. And what we could do is use kilohertz resonator. So to keep it simple, we always go for the C. So we always would push the C resonances. Maybe some down here. And if I play this now, so this is an extreme example. I used Synapse GQ7 for this, and what I've done is I enabled all five EQs to be bells and activate automatic gain and would push the desired frequency. In this case, if our tone would be at 200 Hertz, I know C is not, but just to keep it clear, so this would be at 200, the next one would be at 400, and the next one at around 800. So you always take multiples of the frequency you want to push. We should increase Q to get these a little bit more narrow. In some situations I would have doubled up with that and maybe changed something in here. So 800 was our last frequency, so now it's 1600 and we need a little bit less of this. Of course you could use all 5 for that. Just make sure you push the right frequencies. If you don't know the frequencies you need, you could go to Google, just search for it. You will find a Wikipedia article that I always use, which just shows the hertz and the note you are playing. So this looks a little bit overkill right now, but for example, we searched the C. In this case, this would be 130.8. The next would be at 261.6 and so on. So you could easily push those C frequencies to get a C tone going on. Of course, if you have multiple recordings, don't just copy and paste the existing EQs. Don't just push the same frequencies, or don't push the same resonances in the same manner. Just try to get a little variation in those levels, so the sound is a little bit moving up and down in frequency as long as you play all that stuff. And that's basically how you do this effect. Okay, if you are finished with your sample, just right click, go to bounce and set clip bounce to new sample, and it will appear in your song samples folder. So now you have easy access and can drop it, and could drop it anywhere you like. Okay folks, I hope you enjoyed it. If so, please leave a message and a like down below. I hope you learned something, and I hope you could incorporate some of this into your next production. I will let this play a little bit, and have a great day. See you next time. Bye.